Sir, the Indiana County Department of Human Services. Lisa Spencer joins us, brought to you by Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. We've been conducting these Friday morning visits with Lisa to get an update on the ERAP program, and that is the Emergency Rent and Utility Assistance Program, which has tons of money available to folks right here in Indiana County, exclusively from our standpoint, from folks here in Indiana County. People who rent their homes and are behind in their rent or their utilities. She has the answer. She can fix you right up. Lisa, good morning.
Good morning. Happy Friday.
And you. We've got a gorgeous day today. And you've got some beautiful news as well for ERAP as this program continues and you continue to seek out those people who, for whatever reason, have not filed yet for their ERAP assistance. This is free money for them. This is a message they need to get, and then they need to follow up on it, don't they?
Absolutely. So since last week, we've had just 7 more applications. So we're at 366 total applications that ICAP has received, but that slowed down a little bit because we actually had a pretty good bump the week before. But what we're hoping is that now we're hoping that this is seeping into all of the outskirts of Indiana County, because we want everyone who is renting, who may be behind in rent and or utilities, to be eligible for this money. When the money's gone, then we won't be able to have any assistance provided for this pot of money. So we're hoping that people are starting to hear the message, but I'm encouraged that 366 applications have been received so far.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good number. It's a number, though, that we could expand greatly. And so you get to this point, Lisa, and we've been doing this now for a couple of months, which is hard to believe. We're in our second month of doing this, that you get to the point where you say, okay, well, what else do we need to do? What else can we do in order to get people to do this, to apply for this?
Yeah, I think the best way to do this is just through sheer outreach. It appears that Facebook shares seems to be really kind of like where you get your bang for your buck, or your buck for your bang. I'm not quite sure. It's a little early to know how those work today.
I'm just going to let you run with that. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I feel like we're starting to share it a lot through Facebook, just because I see the shares up and the number of applications. We've had 41 approved. We have 238 that are pending now, and these are the ones where we really need to get their documentation back to ICAP so we can move them into the approved column. So basically, they're approved pending getting all that information that can put their file together, and we'd really like to see that occur.
So are there follow-up calls being made to these folks to say, okay, where do you stand with this? What can we do to help you get this information together so we can get this money to you?
Absolutely. So that's one of the things that ICAP actually did hire 2 people on as case managers to try to help with just the sheer workload of this program. It's a lot of phone calls, a lot of inputting information on Compass, a lot of follow-up calls to utility companies and landlords. So the case managers are quite busy over at ICAP, the ones that they had hired. So on top of all of that, the most difficult part is, too, and time-consuming, is weeding out all the applications. So trying to figure out who's actually eligible and who's not eligible, because there are some guidelines for this program, for income guidelines specifically. We've had 6 so far that have come in that are over the 80% of the area median income. Mm-hmm. And so those will, unfortunately, we won't be able to help those. We've had 9 who no longer live with their landlord. We've had 7 homeowners who aren't eligible for this pot of money. We still had the one who was not an Indiana County resident. We've had 20 duplicate applications, and now I'm starting to understand why that's so easy to do, because when you're on Compass, if you're working yourself through and something happens, the application does not get saved. So then you have to start all over from the beginning again, and that's where these duplicate applications are coming in, which is a kind of a glitch. It would be nicer if people could at least get a numbered or somehow get back in to work on their application, to fully get it up. But a nice feature of Compass right now that they've added is you can upload all your documentation when you're filling out your online application. You can just put your documentation right with it, and that'll all come straight through to ICAP. So that's actually one of the nicer fixes that they've had.
Yeah, that is very, very helpful. And you look for whatever edge you can in terms of finding out just what we can do to get people into this program. And each week when we do these conversations, I am really, compelled to talk about the utility aspect of it, because that's really, really important. People might think I'm okay on my rent, but then the electric bill comes in, the gas bill comes in, the water and the sewage bills, they come in, and you might be okay, but you might be just on the edge of not being okay. And that's a tough position to be in. So those folks who need help with their utilities, this is a part of it as well.
Absolutely. And this is actually the best time to get your utilities caught up, because now that we're heading into the warmer weather, those utility bills as a whole are going to start decreasing just for, not needing it as much since the weather's improving. So if we could get everybody caught up that's renting right now who may be behind, or if you are having trouble with a current bill, if you are, experiencing trouble for this month and call ICAP to see if you're eligible for this program, because if we can get you caught up now, and now the bills will be decreasing because the weather is improving, so you're not needing as much energy or gas costs, then maybe we can get people up and get them self-sufficient a lot quicker.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so for folks who have been listening to this conversation this morning, as in previous weeks, and they say, well, you know what? It's worth it for me, even if I don't know, I should give a call and have somebody help me determine if I'm eligible and get this all filed and get rolling. What do they need to do?
They just need to call ICAP at 724-465-2657. And I think that's the easiest way to go through the quick questionnaire to find out if you're eligible very quickly. So at this point, I'm just putting it out to anybody who's renting in Indiana County. This is your time to be able to know whether or not you can qualify. If you are behind in your rent and or utilities, this is the time for you to get the assistance while we have the money. Now, it's hard to believe that we're already halfway through May, because that's very hard for me to believe. But in a couple more weeks, we're already going to be moving into June. And in July, we have to be able to tell the state how many people we believe that we're going to be able to help with the $5.529 plus million that Indiana County received, and we're not even close to spending that money.
Yeah.
So we do have all those cases, though, the 238 pending cases. We really need, like I said, for those people to get their information back in so that we can move them into the approved column.
All right, yeah, we absolutely do. And we need to speak to those people who are not in that situation right now, but who have family members or neighbors or friends that they know of that are in that situation and might not be aware that there's money out there to help them. So the appeal is to everybody. If you know of somebody who is a renter, who is behind in their rent or who is behind in their utility bills, there's money for you right now. It's not a loan. It's actually a grant, and it's specifically for folks in Indiana County. And so you need to get them involved in the process. You need to get them to call ICAP, help them along. And if you think that they might have trouble making that connection, then folks can help each other. And that's what Indiana County people do. Neighbors help neighbors, and this is a good chance for them to do that.
Absolutely. And I want to put out a quick shout out to the landlords as well. The landlords are able to apply on behalf of the renters if the renter is having difficulty keeping all their rent and or utilities updated. The utility companies have been notified, and ICAP's been in touch with them numerous times, and I've actually have spoken to several myself. They are trying now to identify the renters versus the homeowners, because they don't necessarily have that on their records. So the utility companies are aware of the people who are behind, but the utility companies are not able to apply on behalf of the tenant. or the renter, which I sort of wish they could,
Yeah.
because I think we could help. I think the process could be quicker to alleviate some of those utility bills if that were the case. But we really need the renters to act on behalf of the utility company.
Yeah, there you go. All right, very good. Lisa Spencer, we'll check in with you again next week.
Okay, sounds great. Having a great weekend.
There you go. You too. It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS, 101.1 FM and AM 1160. We're in AM